I see a lot of fans. They wanna see 10 wins this year. I don't see that happening. Not with these young guys. They're freshmen. We got to remember that they are freshmen, but they will get better. They will grow as the season goes on. The more they play, the better they'll get. A big question mark is the quarterback situation. Can Justin Worley or Josh Dobbs get the job done, or even Nathan Peterman for that matter? That's a big question. We're having to replace our entire O-line, our entire D-line, and we lost Rajon Neal. We got Marlon Lane, and we got he's a really big name, Jalen Hurd, true freshman coming in, saying he's going to possibly start, but get a lot of reps no matter what. And so, like I said, we're going to have a lot of young guys out there, and the expectation levels can't be 10 wins. I'm sorry. It's got to be somewhere 6, 7, maybe 8. That's got to be the expectation level, and hopefully we'll exceed that. But like I said, we got to be patient, and we'll see what happens.
Well, that's pretty much spot on as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's always going to be that enthusiastic volunteer fan out there that actually used to be me several years ago. I was the guy that said we were going undefeated every year, whether we trotted 22 freshmen out there or 22 All-Americans. I said we were going to go undefeated every year. Unreal expectations, and of course I don't expect that this year, but I do expect to see better, I'm not going to say play necessarily, but better commitment, better tempo. I expect to see a more refined offense. I expect to see this team make more explosive plays. You hear that term a lot in college football these days. And if you look back at last year, that was one thing our offense was lacking, was the explosive plays. The 2 games we did win last year, we ended up losing to Georgia, but the 2 games that we were competitive in and actually beat South Carolina, if you go back and look at that game, we had some big plays in that game. Other games, Vanderbilt, I don't know what they did with Joshua Dobbs in that game, but it kind of seemed like they put a cage around him, and these guys have all got a year under their belt now. They know Butch's system better. They should be more familiar with the terminology. They're going to be able to help the younger guys better, whereas last year those veterans, they were learning it too. So there's a lot of things to look forward to this year, but when you're depending on freshmen and redshirt sophomores and those young guys to get you the bulk of your wins, you've got to expect for there to be some mistakes. And I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to accept whatever happens this year, so long as we don't. You know what the Mendoza line is, Carter. We can't go less than 5 wins ever, or we screw our own statistics up historically, if you will. Ray, did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, we actually had a question. I didn't know if he was going to call in or not. But Unca D. Nasty, who is a Miami Hurricane fan, wanted to ask you, what will you do if Tennessee beats Alabama in Tennessee, and will you be attending the game, and will you be in tears if you win?
Yeah, that's our boy Unc. Yeah, I'll be there this year. I'm hoping Carter will be able to make the trip too. And tears, if we beat Alabama, tears won't even describe what I'll be in. I'll just be in a bloody emotional mess. I might even, for the pain of it all, you might find me streaking half naked across Neyland Stadium, Shields Watkins Field down there, making people throw up everywhere. That's a question that our boy Unc has been after me for a long time now. He likes that emotional stuff. So we'll see, Unc. We'll see, man. We'll do what we can. Carter, you talked a little bit earlier about young guys. We've been discussing that ad nauseum here for the last few minutes, actually. Another good recruiting class looks to be shaping up for next year. I heard today, actually, on the way over here to Ray's, that Tennessee has, out of all their commitments, they have 8 4-star and above commits. Florida, only 3. And you go back even just a year or two ago, Florida always dominated us, not only on the field but in recruiting. What do you see for next year's recruiting class? How do you see that shaping up? And talk just a little bit, if you will, about the guys that we've already got committed to come down here to the Big Orange.
Well, we got 22 guys right now. all very good, all from all over, but the big name is Khalil McKenzie. He is a 5-star defensive tackle from Clayton Valley, California. He is a huge guy, 6'4", 341. Number 2 player in the country, according to 24/7. I mean, second best player in the country. That's huge for our program to get a guy of that magnitude. We got a lot of great guys. We're getting the in-state guys, like Butch Jones said. We got to recruit the state of Tennessee first. A guy named Jack Jones, offensive tackle from Oakland High School down there in Murfreesboro. He's a 4-star, big guy, loves Tennessee. And one thing about going back to McKenzie may be our best recruiter. He is going on Twitter. He's going on Facebook, all over the social media, and he is trying to help us get more guys. He's going out there talking to friends, talking to other high school players, telling them, hey, come to Tennessee. We got something good going on down here. Come with me. And that's huge. He's really pushing Tennessee, and we couldn't ask for anything better. And so the class is shaping up nice. I'm not sure how many we can take this year, but right now we're at 22, and I want to say we could at least probably get 30, but who knows. But, yeah, it's going great. So we'll see what happens, though.
Actually, I don't think we're quite that high, Carter. We'll try and check on that. That's our bad for not knowing that right off. You mentioned McKenzie being kind of the driver of this year's recruiting bus. You're exactly right. Kind of like Todd Kelly Jr. last year. He was very instrumental in getting a lot of these, not just the legacy guys, but the other guys that recruited and are actually on campus right now getting ready to kick some hind end for Tennessee. So you got to have those recruits actually doing recruiting for you simply by word of mouth and all that good stuff, or otherwise you're not doing your job. Interesting schedule coming up this year, Carter. The first game, Utah State, is a game that we have talked about quite a lot. And a friend of ours actually is so confident that Utah State is going to beat Tennessee in the first game that he made a small wager with me. Now, of course, we know gambling is not the right thing to do, so there's no money involved, but I feel confident about this game. I think we're going to win by at least 3 touchdowns. I just, hey, look, I know that sounds crazy. I know you're a little bit more safeguarding as far as it goes, but I think we're going to come out and just mop the floor with these guys. We are Tennessee. They are Utah State. And yes, I understand that they have put up a good fight with some SEC teams and some bigger schools the last couple of years, and even I think they upset somebody last year, a year before. I can't really remember. But talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule, not so much this year's, Carter, but some big games we're looking at down the road.
Well, the big non-conference game for us this year, Utah State's a good one, but we got to go to Norman, Oklahoma. That's a big game. We got a home and home with them. This year we're going to Norman. Next year they're coming to Knoxville. But that's another thing Butch is done a good job with is making these big non-conference matchups early to open up the season. Next year we're going to be playing in Nashville at the LP Field where the Titans play. We're going to be playing UAB, but I mean it's huge. It's huge for recruiting. It shows that we are big in Nashville and Middle Tennessee. 2016, of course, the Battle at Bristol, which is probably going to be the largest college football game ever. At Bristol Motor Speedway against Virginia Tech. And then 3 days ago, we just found out that Tennessee will be playing the West Virginia Mountaineers September 1st, 2018, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's huge.
That is one I absolutely cannot wait for, Carter. The Battle of the Ears. My buddy, I've lost his YouTube name right now. West Virginia Dirty Dog. He's a big West Virginia fan, and he kicked my hind end on the golf course a couple of years ago. So hopefully I'll get my revenge where it counts on the gridiron. It's a long ways away, a lot to talk about between now and then, but games like that are pivotal. When it comes to scheduling, the SEC has caught a lot of grief from a lot of people about only playing 8 conference games. We will, of course, be discussing that, and I think that might spark a caller. Again, folks, if you're wanting to join the conversation today, give us a shout toll-free, 855-403 9071, or locally at 865-643-8832. I know we've got some listeners here in Knoxville. I've got friends that are listening here in Knoxville. Bill, where you at? We want to talk about it. Bill's our buddy. He's I don't know if we're going to call him a former video maker or not. We'll see this year. I have a feeling that he's going to crawl back out of the woodwork and let us hear it. But, talking about that schedule, Carter, you mentioned the Oklahoma game. Classically, two of the greatest names in college football. But this year, not so much, thanks in part to us. No one outside of Oklahoma, outside of Tennessee, and probably no one in Tennessee, aside from myself, is giving us a shot in this game. It's a foregone conclusion that the Sooners are just going to boomer sooner our ass, and we might as well not even show up. What do you think about that game? What chance do you give us?
We got a chance, but it's not a big one. The problem is Oklahoma is stacked. Trevor Knight at the QB, he's really good, possible Heisman contender. They got a really good D. They didn't lose much. They have this guy named Matt Stryker, who is a headhunter, and A.J. McCarron could tell you about that. They're going to be a good team. A lot of people have them making the playoff this year. We'll see. Some people may say they're a little overhyped, and they might be, but they're going to be a good team. But if we go in there and we can move the ball on their defense and just match them, we got a chance.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are banking on Oklahoma being good this year just simply based off of that win they got last year against a lackadaisical, not wanting to be there Alabama football team. It was clear as day as you watched that game, Oklahoma fans, that Alabama did not want to be there. They had no business even showing up for that game because they thought they were national championship material. And you know how those guys are down in Alabama lately. If it's not up to their par, they don't want to participate. Ask Utah. Now you can ask Oklahoma. That should get maybe some of the Oklahoma fans fired up, and maybe if there's any listening, give us a shout. We're going to move right along, Carter. We've discussed the schedule. Not all of it this year, but we're going to move on anyway. We talked about media days earlier. This is for me, SEC media days generally, it signifies the start of the college football season for myself and most other people. I don't have a lot to say personally about it. It was the Steve Spurrier show, but I know you were tuned in and watching a lot of what was going on. What are your thoughts about what some of the coaches had to say, and even our coach, what he had to say down there?
Well, like you said, the Steve Spurrier show, Mr. Click Clack himself, took a few shots like he normally does, made a few sound bites. Other than that, it was just kind of a normal media days. Butch Jones basically got up there and he said individual about 300 times. But it's like he said, we're the only team in the country that's having to replace their entire O-line and D-line. I think it's very clear what Butch is trying to get across to a lot of our fans is, hey, let's be patient. It's going to be kind of a rebuilding year. I know that's not what we want to hear, but that's kind of what I took from it. The NCAA and the big power conferences are not getting along right now. And one of the big things, a lot of the coaches are really trying to get players paid, and I think that's a big, big subject right now.
That's a big subject every year. One that I personally try to avoid because, both sides of that argument, in my opinion, have very legit claims, and I'm still kind of on the fence, about it. I understand the big argument on the negative side of it is that they get an education paid for, free and clean. I get that. They get a lot of privileges on these campuses that other student athletes don't get. I get that. But football is the bell cow for pretty much every university's income. Without football, a lot of universities might not even exist. I mean, what would they do in Alabama if they didn't have football? It'd be like I don't know, man. It'd be like a Russian roulette kind of ordeal down there, people offing themselves. And it's the same way up here. I tease Alabama fans all the time.